It's a no for me, dog.
No.
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 And welcome back, everybody, because we're doing Who Says No, where we have a bunch of mock trades. And by the way, this segment is brought to you by Pure Hockey. Great hockey, low prices, great selection. I love going to Pure Hockey. I always feel like I'm Randall walking into TS Video in Clerks, just going, no, Big Choice Video. That's what it was. He worked at the TS Video. So Big Apple Hockey's Who Says No, where we have a bunch of mock trades, and we're going to tell you which team is going to say no to this. And we'll start, Mr. Morocco, with
Marc, or maybe nobody says no, and it's a deal.
That's another option, too.
Yeah.
That's another option. Maybe nobody says no at all. Anthony, let's start with you on the first one. Pierre-Luc Dubois goes to the LA Kings, and then going back to Winnipeg. Gabriel Velarde, Blake Lizotte, Eric Portillo, and a first-round draft pick for next year. Who says no?
So LA doesn't have a first this year. So if they get Pierre-Luc Dubois, which, by the way, LA seems to be the front runner for him, and Winnipeg insists on a first. It's got to be a 2024. Being that they're going to possibly be trading Connor Hellebuyck, Eric Portillo, standout goalie from Michigan, is in the deal to get more goaltending depth. And then you have Gabriel Velarde, who is really the key cog in this piece. And then Blake Lizotte, he's a good third line, fourth line center, 11 goals last season, speedy, does all the right things on the ice. This right here, I am actually going to say is a deal. I think Winnipeg gets enough assets where they're comfortable moving a guy they know they aren't able to retain. And the Kings get a guy that they coveted. They remember, it's been reported they wanted him when he first X'd out of Columbus. However, they lost out there. So I think they get their guy this time. I think Winnipeg is delusional if they think they're getting a Quentin Byfield or anyone of that ilk. But I think Gabriel Velarde is a good key piece to get back into a good young player. Had a hell of a year last year. I think this deal gets consummated.
I love the choice of the word consummated. Phil, which one do you think says no? And by the way, my apologies, Eric Portillo.
Yeah, you got the pronunciation right the second time. I'll give you credit there.
I put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Emphasis on the syllable. Oh, Velarde did have a really good year this year. I mean, he's really kind of established himself as that pick. And I just remember the Rangers were looking at supposedly drafting him with that pick that they took Lias Anderson with. And now in hindsight, my God, Gabriel Velarde, they'd be so much better off. I think Velarde is here. And I think the cap is key for LA. I mean, that to me is really why I think LA might kind of say no to this. You would wonder if they would move Byfield over him just because Byfield has had some injuries and the development hasn't gone as well. I think if you replaced Velarde with Turcotte, I think that deal goes through. I think you may have to give up another player that's a little better than Lizotte for that. But I think if you change that around, I think that deal goes through.
I think this could go through. The question to me is, does LA start to feel cap restrictions? If the cap restrictions come into play, I think Velarde is the better way to go. But that being said, you got one more year of PLD. He wants to sign up to nearly $9 million. Is what he's seeking right now. LA's got one more year of Kopitar at $10 million and one more year of Victor Arvidsson at 4.25. So they can conceivably sign him and move him in, and they're loaded with prospects they can get a lot younger. This deal could go through. If anybody says no, it's going to be LA saying no to that. But I think it could go. And a lot of people have PLD going there. Alex DeBrincat to the Detroit Red Wings, to the Ottawa Senators, the Islanders draft pick that Detroit acquired, Philip Zadina and Elmer Soderblom. Phil, who says no?
I'm gonna say Detroit though, because I think DeBrincat's gonna go less than that. He did go for less than that this past year. I don't see him having that same value. Not that I think very highly of Filip Zadina anymore. I think we're getting to the point where Filip Zadina is looking more like a bust. I don't see it with him. And I was very high on him. I thought he was going to be the best goal scorer to come out of that 2018 draft. He just has not been that good. He really hasn't. The numbers just aren't there. The signs of progress aren't there. I mean, after 2022 season, he had 10 goals and 24 points, 74 games. And you thought in 2020, he looked good, like he was like on the rise. It just never happened for Zadina. Soderblom is the guy that I think Detroit is going to want to hate to give up. With the size, speed, and talent that he has, that's not somebody that they want to give up at all. I don't see it.
Soderblom is the guy that I'm looking at and going, nope. I don't think I'm parting with him. It's just 6'8". Well, let me see. 6'8", 246. Yikes. That is a big boy. And if he reaches half his potential, he can make Johan Franzen look like a mite compared to him. I wouldn't want to pass on that guy, Anthony.
The mule turns into the mite.
I'm going to say this is a deal. I think Detroit realizes that Zadina is not what they thought he was going to be. I think the clock is ticking here. The Islanders first, it's not a really great pick. So you're down to Soderblom. He was a 6th-round pick. Yes, he has size, and for his size, he does have some good speed. But I think Detroit is ready to take the next step. Alex DeBrincat, oddly enough, some people might be scratching their head and be like, why is DeBrincat going to Detroit? He's actually on their short list of teams that he would go to, and it's because he's from Michigan. So I think Steve Yzerman would kind of welcome the fact that this guy wants to play for your organization, and he's a really good player. He's young. He fits in with the core, what they're trying to do long term. And again, when you look at what Zadina's is kind of his trajectory is, and being the pick being not that great, you compare DeBrincat, Soderblom, and you go with DeBrincat every day of the week just because he's a proven 40-goal scorer and has got more skill. So I think this is a deal.
Going back to one of the guys we mentioned before, Connor Hellebuyck going to the New Jersey Devils, and it would be for either the rights, because right now 2 of the guys are RFAs. Yeah. The rights to Sarangovich and Michael McLeod and Akira Schmid and a 1st-round pick next year. Anthony, who says no on this pick, on this trade?
I think the Devils, as much as they're interested in Hellebuyck, I think they say no. It's not because they don't want to give up Sharangovich, which I think, they realize with having to pay Meyer, it probably $8.5 million, and maybe do some other things. I don't know if he's in their plans going forward, but I think it's the fact that Hellebuyck is commanding right now, apparently the ask is a Vasilevsky price tag from him, which is like $9.5 million. And I think the Devils are having some pause with that. So when you think about what you have to pay him, combined with what you'd be giving up right here, and the fact that they just saw a team win the Stanley Cup with Adin Hill, it might give them some pause. That's not to say the trade's not going to happen. Hellebuyck may very well become a Devil, but I think from my viewpoint, when you consider what you might have to pay him and what you're giving up here, I mean, Michael McLeod's okay. Akira Schmid, I don't know if he's going to be a legitimate starter going forward. I do think, though, the Jets may want a goalie in return, so that's why he's in this deal. So I think the Devils say no, but I think there is a very good possibility that Connor Hellebuyck still ends up on the Devils.
Phil, your face was reminiscent of Winona Ryder when I think they won some award, and she was all confused on that one. Please go into who you think says no on this.
New Jersey would take this and run to the friggin' bank laughing if they gave up that little for Connor friggin' Hellebuyck. Sharangovich, okay, he had a 20-goal season. Nice little player, middle 6 guy. Okay. Michael McLeod is a 4th liner. He's a 4th liner. And Akira Schmid, because he had a 5 or 6 game sample size run where he was okay in the playoffs, where he was barely tested by the New York Rangers and then shelled by the Carolina Hurricanes? Give me a break. The only thing that's worth real value in this deal is a first-round pick. What is Winnipeg getting out of this? What is Winnipeg getting out of this? A middle six forward and a first-round pick?
And a first-round pick next year.
Yeah, it's a first-round pick next year. It's not even this year's draft. It's not even. Because they gave up their pick this year for Timo Meier.
Mm-hmm.
So, no. Winnipeg says no. They hang up the phone laughing, and then they block Fitzgerald's number because Fitzgerald is treating them like they're ass clowns.
You know, honestly, I know Steve Alquette likes to quote
Anthony
Rounders.
put this one together to get a reaction like that out of me.
I know, because it's going to be most of the time guys will quote Rounders. I'll bring out the Malkovich for this one. Fine, fucking joke anyway. We trade for your star goalie with 2 RFAs. That's what it feels like. It's like you got Sharon Govich.
If I'm the Jets, I need Mercer in that deal.
Good luck. You couldn't get him for Timo Meier.
Yeah, well, the Sharks were in a different position.
I don't think they're getting Dawson Mercer out of that. And
I need a prospect worth a damn in this deal. There is no prospect worth a damn in this deal.
You know what? It was a little bit of both to mess with Filk and also the fact that I thought about it. Like the Devil, realistically, as good as Hellebuyck is, he's 30. He's 30 going on 31. Let's just take this right off the table. They're not getting Luke Hughes. They're not getting Nemec. Obviously,
can they get Alexander Holtz?
That was the guy I was debating about putting in, because I don't think they're getting Dawson Mercer either for a goalie Hellebuyck's age and asking for the amount of money.
I don't think they're getting Dawson Mercer, but if I'm them, I'm starting with that asking price. I'm working my way down. This is terrible.
Holtz was the guy I almost put in the deal, but I guess the Devils probably don't want to trade him, but they might have to at the end of the day if they want Hellebuyck. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to figure out some way to make them say yes, never mind who says no.
It's just dog shit for Winnipeg. Absolute dog shit.
Now, I will say this. They might circle back and amend to this deal because I don't know what they're getting out of Pittsburgh. And I'm trying to think of all the landing places that Hellbuyck can go to.
You're going to tell me that somebody can't realistically beat that deal?
I definitely think Buffalo could, but I think
there are multiple teams that could beat that
deal.
Deal.
Yep.
Who do you think is a good landing spot for Hellbuyck? Because I haven't thought about it yet, but
honestly, there's the smoke with the Devils. There's mutual interest. The Devils have been apparently Pierre LeBrun have been talking to Winnipeg. I think it's the Devils. I mean, aside from them, Pittsburgh could use them. Buffalo, I'm not sure about because of Devin Levi.
I don't think they're in on that. I think Levi played well enough at the end of last season to the point where it makes no sense to trade for him right now. If anything, they go and they get maybe a veteran backup that can come in and spell Levi for games and kind of ease him into an NHL schedule.
And then looking at it, you have I'm trying to go around the league just thinking different places that he might land that is going to be beneficial. I mean, because there's going to be another goalie that we're going to talk about in a moment who also could be on the move, but or at least hypothetically in our heads. Let's go back to Winnipeg because after all, they're tearing down everything in Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm.
Marc Scheifele to the Boston Bruins, Trent Frederick, Fabian Lysell, Matt Grzelcyk, and a 2023 third-round pick for Marc Scheifele.
Please like and subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of great hockey content and an entertaining interactive podcast. So check us out and our library of videos.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.